needs, you can use our certified EV repairers or pick your own. The choice is yours. Choose Allianz Comprehensive Car Insurance. Ah, Allianz. Dan, really?
I'll see you in a little while.
Now, the pair is set to star in a new series, The Narrow Road to the Deep North.
You a gambling man?
Occasionally, yeah. Tom shows you make it through the entire year alive.
And a prisoner of war whose memory of his one true love helps him survive the darkest of times.
Be sure to enjoy your weekend, Dorigo.
Oh, you dance, you?
Do you love him?
Before we get into this in earnest, Odessa, I caught you spotting yourself in the monitor just before and freaking out.
We don't need to talk about it.
Why? What are you? Why?
It's really hard to see. That's horrible.
No.
So I don't have my glasses on right now, so for all I know, it could be anyone.
But you realise your work is like on camera.
Yeah.
That's a bad job.
Idiot.
This is an epic show. How does it feel to be part of an epic Australian project like this?
Mate, it's huge. I've wanted to work at home since I left home, so it's massive for me. And working with Justin Kurzel has been a dream of mine since I was about 14 or 15 years old. So it's like it's surreal.
The term leading man often gets associated with you now. So leading man is very exciting. How does it feel? People describe me as a following man. So like, how does it feel to be out in front, leading the way?
Oh, I don't know about that. I'm just super grateful that I get to keep working, again and again and again. It's kind of the only thing that I'm okay at. Anything else that I'm kind of really bad at. So it's it's a dream come true. It sounds really cliche, but it is. It's like it's my literal dream.
I think Sam wants to know how he could.
Yeah, it was more about me, to be honest, but you're doing great. I agree.
Also based overseas, how nice is it to come home and actually be able to do the Aussie accent for a decent amount of time?
I was telling Jacob didn't know this, I had to get an accent coach to get back to Australia.
What was the trickiest kind of phrasing or wording that you
It's just like the roundness of the American accent I've picked up. It's really hard over there to ask for a glass of water. You have to say water. So we just pick things up and I had to when I did my audition for this show, I was watching all these self-tapes back going, I sound completely American. If I get this, I'm going to have to really work on it. And then I got it, and I had to really work
Was
on
it hard for you listening to your voice? But if you hate seeing yourself on screen, you also hate listening to yourself. Right, oh God.
Yeah.
It's a dramatic experience.
Jacob, you play a prisoner of war in this. It's brutal. I mean, how hard are those scenes to shoot, knowing that in the past, in history, Australian troops and others went through that?
Yeah, I mean, obviously you're never even going to get close to what those men endured. But after talking to Richard Flanagan and sort of working with Justin Kurzel, you know that you're going to have to make it sort of as real as humanly possible in an artistic type of way. So it was grueling.
It says you're the only person here. Oh no, wait, there's someone else now. I don't know how accurate that is. The viewer count thing. How's it going? I was out yesterday and I was sort of actually it was the other day. It was the day before. I was hoping that people would ask me that so that I could test being honest. Because I have done that before, like just it's the polite general greeting is to be like, how's it going? How are you today or whatever? And like, yeah, like honestly. Ironically, like I am better today, but I don't know, it takes a lot of sort of mental effort to prepare myself. Yeah, I know, but then it's like people are going to sort of walk in on this, so like I don't know, I'm being very self-conscious as always. Um it's just like every day's the same for me. So it's just like killing time in the morning, which is like why I'm doing these streams. I thought like if I was doing these I'd get like some like social sort of exposure, conversational practice or whatever. And it doesn't really like do that. It tends to sort of like end with me feeling like kind of I don't know, like I've taken on too much, like I got too much to think about after the chat. Like, did they like me? Did that thing I say make sense or whatever? Like, you know, obviously the lighting situation in here is just like it's crazy. It's crazy how bad it looks. Like because I've said this before, like I take like 5 minutes to set this shot up. So like, to look a certain way because I might be on camera for several hours. And it ends up being like a totally degraded, over exposed, grainy, dark, extremely dark looking, like it looks dingy. Um it just like all the shadows, like it makes me look like I'm in a horror movie and I'm not like one of the sexy teens. I'm like the horrible creep who kills everybody. It makes me look like. And then I look at this and I start worrying, oh, is that what other people see in real life? Is that why I'm alone? And yeah, so like it's kind of self-destructive now that I think about it. Um yeah, I actually do own a ring light. Like I'm literally, I'll show you what I've got a stupid lamp facing me because otherwise it's pitch black, which is crazy because it's the sun's out, it's daytime and the curtains are open. But yeah, so I mean I just do this lately because I got sick of my morning routine. Like I don't want to there's nothing like for me to really do these days that I enjoy so much. Like I don't know. I I watched the Hitler thing, by the way. The first video, the shorter one. I had a look at the other one. It's like 2 hours long or something. So I'll probably get to that because I actually did find it interesting and like I went in a little bit skeptical, which maybe is goes to show that like even I've been conditioned or whatever by the media, Jewish media, obviously. But yeah, I mean, I did have an inkling. Obviously, I said in the other day, holy shit, 16 hours. Okay. So it's like modern day movies are like roughly that long anyway. So which is weird. It's so strange how like they make sorry, not to derail, we'll get back to Hitler. Um Modern movies, like they make everything so long these days, you know what I mean? Like movies are on average like over 2 hours, maybe even three. And it doesn't make any sense because like people have like the shortest attention spans. Um, well, as far as history goes, people's attention spans are the shortest they've ever been. That's what I'm trying to say. So, like, what the fuck's going on? Like, why would they make their movies too long when people can't even like watch a 30-second TikTok without tuning out? Like, what the, you know? Um, but yeah, so like I did find it interesting and it made a lot of sense. And I did, when I got to the end, I did want to sort of find out the rest of the story. So but what were the things? Yeah, it basically it seemed like hmm, okay, yeah. It seemed okay, so this is a bit much to say on record. But Hitler's views kind of lined up with my own, you know what I mean, about how society should be and what is right and wrong, you know. And like I was most surprised about like his treatment towards women because like I thought that was it's obviously like modern society. It's all been socially engineered by the Jews, which is like satanic, you know. Um, and so like modern society's view on women and people in general, but especially women, is basically it's not good. And the protective sort of aspect that he showed towards women and the caring nature and the gratitude like for the mothers getting awards, like that to me was like really crazy to process because like in this society I see breeding as like the biggest no-no pretty much, you know, like we do not need any more horrible people, you know, it's because it's usually bad people or people with bad programming bringing new people into this world. And just like the idea that the society was set up so like um everybody had their place, you know, that good values were taught and even rewarded, honored, etc. I thought was really cool. um I forgot I'm supposed to be talking to the camera. um yeah, that too, yeah, definitely. Which I mean, again, it just made me realize that, you know, like you hear people who become serial killers, they always start on animals and just that basic, like, total, obvious, total lack of empathy for any other living thing. Um, that's got to be like a Jewish mindset or whatever, you know, whatever the Jews really are. They're probably like they probably stole their nationality. You know what I mean? Like they're demons that breeded with a certain subtext subset of like high, I don't know what do you call it, like just good people, you know what I mean? And so it's like Trojan horse kind of thing where they sort of made their way into society and they made their way up by basically stealing someone else's culture. And that like whenever you see that sociopathic lack of empathy in people, it's that Jewish DNA that has been spread, which is apparently what I learned from watching the documentary, what Hitler was against, which is what I'm against, which is you know, reptilians or whatever the heck phrase you want to use. Yeah, exactly. And like, well, remember the where I started with it is like the guy wanted to kill Jews and everybody hates Jews, so he couldn't have been that bad. Do you know what I mean? Like, obviously, part of the programming is to make sure that people, at the very least, don't speak up against what Jewish people are really like, you know. But you hear it everywhere. It always comes out sideways, even in the entertainment industry, how Jews are the worst, you know, and they run everything and they're the pedophiles and the cannibals and the murderers, and they're the ones who propagate all these evil, insidious sort of ideas and put these plans into action, and do all the terrorist attacks and blame innocent people. You know, the victim mentality shit they pull is just disgusting. Okay, so see, you actually do real research, which is useful to a person like me who just guesses shit, throws stuff at the wall and hopes it sticks. So with what you've learned about Jewish religion, is it what I said? Like Jews are basically, maybe they were originally, there's like Jewish people that were not the worst, but then, like, like a they live scenario happened where they what do you call them, skinwalkers, they took on the likeness of humans to breed and create the new Jewish Hollywood Jew, I have no life either, but I'm less proactive. Um, what else? Yeah, and the other thing, like the perception of Hitler, how obviously the mass media what's that word? Portrays him as just this angry kind of, because you can't, like that thing I was saying the other day too, because you don't know what he's saying. You just see that he's upset and you assume he's throwing a tantrum or he is just like completely toxic. You know what I mean? But then when you actually have the subtitles for what he's saying, you're like, okay, I can see why he's so passionate, and you can tell that it shifts from a temper tantrum or a rage. The perception shifts into more of a righteous anger. You see that he actually has righteous anger. What he's saying is, from a very human perspective, it's not a worry or a fear. It is a reality that this is happening, and this is what we have to do to deal with it. He tends to, that's what I got from when I understood. Or, I mean, again, I mean, I'm trusting you, and that this documentary you handed me is trustworthy. It's been proven time and time again. I'm a gullible idiot, or um, yeah, German sounds angry, especially when shouted. But I would argue that probably every um, what do you call them again? Accent. Every accent sounds angry when someone's yelling. Probably, right? See, that's the distinction. Most again, for the same reason, it's all perception. That the reason we were all exposed to Hitler going, Schwenner, Schnitzwein, it's whatever the heck, is that perception that Germans are angry, like I was saying. But because I can't recall too often I've heard casual German conversation. It usually just defaults back to the Hitler screaming at the top of his lungs and all that stuff. So, like Arnold Schwarzenegger's German, but I've never heard him speak German. He had a very, very good accent. He had a very good American accent in his first movie, Hercules. But it just went downhill from there. Was the other 16 hours of the documentary, whatever, does that go into drilling and all the technology and like working with the gray aliens and stuff that I've heard about World War II? Because there's a lot of like UFO kind of conspiracy stuff from that era. And obvious, like I said, I'm pretty sure all wars are just gigantic blood sacrifices made to harvest loosh in mass, en masse. These are you've got like you've got like a whole ranking system of the different accents and how good or bad they sound when they're angry. How many people have gotten angry at you? It sounds like you've traveled a lot and pissed off a lot of people. Kalergi plan. I know what that is, but I don't believe that you do. I don't. I was hoping you would try to explain it for me to prove that you know it, but that's okay because I know what it is too. Let's move on. A lot of different languages spoken in the US. The television leads us to believe that it's just American accents 24/7. No, but seriously, what is the Kalergi plan? I mean, I could probably just Google it. It'll put me on another list. Well, okay, I'll be a bit more specific. What is the Kalergi plan? Okay, that's a lot of reading right there. Pardon me. Oh, okay. Erasing white people, is that a good or a bad thing? Because like, aren't white people kind of like the aliens? Like, well, I'm not really a fan of like mixed race sort of stuff. I feel it dilutes the gene pool, and from my experience and observation, mulattoes tend to be fucked up people, usually like sociopathic. It's like I think you this is see, I'm just saying shit, but it seems like a black person and a black person, for instance, if they have a child together, there's like more of a sticking sort of there's like more of a glue to the DNA, and like that helps the body hold empathy or something. And then like when they're mismatched kind of things, and this could go for even people who shouldn't be together physically, like they just don't look like a couple. That like when it's not a good match, I feel like that causes like lack of empathy in the child. I don't There's 5 people watching apparently, so if anyone wants to jump in and verify the science on the shit I just said, feel free. But, because that's another thing that the media is really into is at any opportunity to show usually like a black man and a white woman or a Chinese woman, um, just like a really obviously mixed race couple, but they're not even necessarily like compatible physically, like their facial features don't go together at all. They look like they have totally different brains, like why would you want to be around someone who you can't even understand or relate to? Yeah, I love saying Just offensive shit for no reason off the top of my head and offending like the only other person here. I think technically I'm mulatto too, Robin. So that's like why I said the sociopath thing. Um, you needed a blood test to get married, but Robin, you work in a prison, right? Yeah, I assume you still do. They haven't fired you for being a drunk. Um, oh, still, I'm looking at the comments. I should antagonize by looking directly right at you. Um, are there a lot of mixed race men in prison, or is it just like 99% black people? The blood test to get married thing, though, that's really interesting. How long ago was that? The blood test to get married thing. Watch something. It actually gives a little bit extra lighting when the TV's on, so I get a bit of front light on. Watch something with like white in it.
You got, of course, another love story coming, Wuthering Heights. I can't tell
I
you.
clicked on a thing of men stripping, but it was because it had the lightest background.
Are you loving this transformation into the 1800s?
So much so, yeah. I mean, yeah. To be a part of Gothic literature, not once but twice in a row. Under that is
I've literally never heard about that. It sounds more like a shotgun wedding type of thing. Lieber's born. What the heck's that? Why do people keep saying shit that I don't understand? Like I sit in my own head 24/7 thinking I'm so smart, and then I talk to people and I'm like, oh okay. But maybe if I pay attention, I'll learn something. I'm probably not going to pay attention. Yeah. Like I said, I've literally never even heard about that. You'd think it would have come up in like a movie or one of my other windows to the world. I've never seen it in a TV show. I've never heard anyone sing about it. Not even Bob Dylan. You'd think that's something that Bob Dylan would have said at one point in one of his like little poems or whatever. You don't need. Yeah, right. Bob Dylan, early 60s. He probably would have mentioned it. Maybe it was just like, I don't know. It went over my head. You find when you have a question about life in general, not necessarily something you can research historically, but you just have sort of a question about your own life or things like that. Um, if you ask it, and I think it has to be out loud, and sometimes it has to be to another person, and they don't know the answer or they don't help you. Later on, if you're paying attention, it could be on a billboard, it could just occur to you that you will realize that you will get the answer to the question you asked. Is that a thing that other people have experienced? Well, yeah, that helps. The word I don't understand is in the Jewish propaganda from time to time. So what you're telling me is that I'm unwittingly being brainwashed by this Liebes born or whatever the heck. Wondershausen, Wonder Show. What was that show? Hey Robin, are you still there? How's your prison boyfriend? I forgot to get the front lightings on.
The mix.
Yeah, who's that guy? Fuck man. There's some dude, like conspiracy dude, he turned out to be a real psycho. He has his own channel. I'll subscribe to him, but I never really watched his videos. That happens a lot. I'll be like, oh, this person's interesting. I'll subscribe to them in case I want to go back and or they have any new videos. But like most of the time, I never watch anything else of them, and I think that's the case for everyone who's subscribed to me too. Um, but yeah, I forget what his name was. Maybe people know when I talk about it, but he was doing a live stream. And so I go in there and I'm like, "Oh, hey, blah blah blah, whatever his name was. Uh I make videos like yours or whatever." And then like he took that as an opportunity to like single me out, say, "You think you're just like me?" Like he doesn't know me and blah blah blah. I said, "Yeah, I've got a channel, this is me in the comments." And he's like, "Okay, let's see your channel." And he brings up my channel and like deliberately picks the videos that are clearly not like conspiracy videos, like my song promotion videos and shit. And he's like, "You think you're like me?" And like he basically used the whole thing to humiliate me in front of everybody. Um, but the one of the things that the reason I bring that up is um that's what I said in the chat that really, really got to him. That I said that um we're basically born knowing everything that we need to know. We basically know everything, real people. Life, like going through life, it's a matter of like being reminded and remembering everything that we forget once we like reach age 5 or whatever. We can't see like angels anymore and stuff like that. And so like yeah, he really took me to task for that. And there was like someone else in his chat, like this older autistic guy that was like one of his moderators who was like saying that maybe I have a point. And so he spent like 2 hours, no joke, 2 hours trying to what is it? Like recondition this guy into not accepting what I said about like we're all born knowing everything. It's just like a matter of remembering. And I guess that because it didn't suit his narrative that people need to come to him for knowledge and information. Because England is like run by the royal family and they're like head reptilians or whatever, right? Yes, actually, Soul Read, yeah. Sanity Machine, that's exactly right. Have you seen that or how did you know who I was talking about? Oh, okay. I guess because other people reached out to me after it happened because it was a little bit traumatic, if I'm being honest, but it helped me understand that I should remove a lot of the bloat and the bullshit from my channel. Which isn't really a note that I'm sticking to lately, but it did make me be like, okay, people could look at my channel and get like the wrong impression real fast. Like that, I should really try to lean into my strengths. He said, well, he's probably doing one of his own 16-hour live streams. But I'm not even kidding. I got so under that guy's skin that he blocked me from the chat. I realized pretty quickly that my comments, even though they were going through, no one could see them. So I left. I came back like 2, 3 hours later, and they were still fucking talking about me. Him, that older autistic man who was like, "Well, I think he had a point. Like part of what he was saying made sense to me." And Sanity Machine's going like, "No, none of what he said made sense. Like, I understand you're autistic, dude, but like, there's a point where you just have to like use common sense." And then like his other moderator was like some Indian chick who was like a viewer of mine who seemed totally sane, but like she was really anti-vegan. Oh, and then they did this other thing that meat eaters always do, where they like, especially if someone is vegetarian or vegan around them, they spend like 10 minutes talking about how much they love eating meat and their favorite like memories of eating meat, and then like, oh yeah, man, nothing like a good steak. I like it medium rare. Oh yeah, medium rare's the best. It's like, you know what's even better than a steak? A burger. And they just do shit like that. And you're like, but they were doing that in the chat too. And it's like, because they knew I was vegan. And it's like, are they fucking doing this to like annoy me through the internet on a live stream? Yeah, well, he if he can't break them, he bans them. Yeah, that seems to be his pattern. He's a psycho, right? He's a psycho, clearly. You you admitted as much. Um, and he's toxic. But you know what? Yeah, he used to put valuable information out. I bet you he stole it all. Because when he was doing that whole public takedown of me, like that publicly humiliating me in front of everybody by like showing my worst videos in front of everybody, he had to have seen my channel to know to click around the good ones. He was only clicking shit that was like, there's no way that's going to be one of my good videos. And so like I know that he had done a video about the Star Trek Soul Trap thing where you explain in that scene that that's basically showing people what happens when you die and a reptilian will take on a loved one's form to try and get you to come back into the light. So I, as far as I'm aware, I'm the only person who made a video like that, actually explaining that scene. Is there hair on there? There is, but I can't get rid of it. Oh well. And so he'd done a video like that. I didn't look at the time of when he made his, but if I did now, I'm sure it was probably after when I made mine, almost certainly. So like all that valuable information he used to do, that was probably just stolen videos, because you know how hard it is to find real content on YouTube where it's a real person on like a webcam just saying shit because they don't care or they've got nothing to lose. That's like the algorithm doesn't show it to you. You got to be like in a comment section and find someone else's comment and click their profile to find their videos like that. So he's obviously been around that community for a long time. I'd say because he's a psychopath, all they know how to do is kill, steal, and uh, lie, cheat, whatever. My brain's not working too good right now. But I'm saying because this guy is an empty piece of shit. We know that. He doesn't have any valuable information. That's why he's so threatened by people who can actually say stuff like this in real time, or like what I was doing in the chat, which is why I got banned, because I was challenging him, like you said. It's not hard to challenge him. Challenge him. You only have to say something original. If he was original, he would be able to keep up. You know what I mean? So that's how you know that he never had any valuable information. He was always stealing it. And I'm not just saying from me, he may not have stolen from me, but there's no fucking way he actually has any sort of like connection to the things that good people have connection to. He might have like known an empath and been a horrible friend or boyfriend to them and just fucking completely stolen their personality and their knowledge, because that happens. Oh yeah, because like you have a channel too. Can I even see that? What, you think you're better than me? Where's that block button? You figured out the demiurge. What's the demiurge again? We all know that I know it, but yeah. I realize it looks weird when I drink from a bottle on these things. So I don't like do graceful movements, but also it's like it looks weird because it's a 2 liter bottle of water. Like it's not like a little, unless I'm just like a really tiny man. This is a normal sized bottle of water. I'm just like 12. But that looks so weird because it's such a huge bottle. That's what I'm gonna say. Well, what do you think? You reckon he just stole it all? I do. Yeah. Pretty much no one is vegan, but it's like they use like 90% of their hypnotic powers on making sure that people are eating meat. Or it could be just most people have too much Jewish DNA and they have that natural cannibalistic they have too many cannibal taste buds. It just take you because like I hear this all the time. I couldn't stop. I couldn't give up meat. It just tastes too good. It's like any food can taste good. You know what I mean? I mean, meat isn't food unless you're a reptilian. Okay, that's interesting. How long ago was this? And if I was to be really paranoid, I'd start to like connect the dots and be like, "Oh, okay, so you know this guy, huh? And now you're talking to me." Yeah, and you've gone like, yeah, he was such a dirty dog, but he's all right. It's like, what? You know what I'm saying? This place is all right. It's okay. This place is what you make it. Like, my life could be a lot happier if I had more balls, for instance. You know what I mean? That's the way it is. Or I would say to be a bit more kind to myself if I wasn't so traumatized. Because I've been looking into it, doing a little bit of sort of Alicia style researching for once, and realize that the autism, which I might have, and trauma can be confused. And my impression of autism, it's never really felt exactly correct for me. Like it doesn't, because I think about autistic people, and I don't think that I don't think they're really able to come across like this or read. I can read people probably better than anybody. People's body language, I pick up on things real fast. I just don't acknowledge it for probably because I'm traumatized. Brings them all together like into some little trap. But yeah, I'm probably just traumatized. Like I got shell shocked technically, and like my mind doesn't work quickly in social interactions sometimes. Like at the start of this stream, start of like most of the streams, as soon as it starts, I'm almost having like a panic attack. So like at this point, you can see I'm a bit looser and more relaxed. But yeah, my mind nearly stopped working at the start of this stream, and just to let you guys know. I might make it look easy, but no, it's easy. It's like I'm saying, everything's easy. We make things hard for ourselves, and it's not out of nothing. It's not for no reason. It's not for no good reason. It's because people have hurt us on purpose, and they've messed with our heads, and they've done stuff to us that I don't think the human brain is able to process properly. You know. It's you dealt with whatever computer you've got running in there. And for some people, the thing that happens to them or the things that happen to them can really mess up the way their computer works. And they can know something, but they can't do something. Or they can do something and they can't know something. The same thing that they're doing, they don't know anything about it. Anyway. What was the levels based on your hospital records? Because I kind of went on a little bit of a rant there. You know how they call it your feed on the internet, like whatever you're browsing? It's like a it's like pigs in a trough. Animal Farm, 1984. I'm trying to use references that you guys understand that I don't. Oh, okay. Well, that's interesting, Bobby. I'm surprised, yeah, that that does make sense though, because I see people come like walk in, like you see the number thing go up, the viewer count go up, and then then it goes down. I'm like, why would people who watch me come in and like just leave? But it's probably, you know, randos, mostly normies who are seeing me and being like, what the heck is this? Yeah, okay, so I've I do videos on my channels, and I've said this a few times, so I'll say a few several hours by just telling you that my belief with social anxiety is pretty much along those lines. What I'd liken it to is like in the wild, in nature, you got like predators and prey, right? So let's say there's a deer at the watering hole. They're just sort of like they're having a drink of water, but all of a sudden they get this pang, this sense of like danger, and it's because they can tell that there's a wolf sort of prowling the perimeter nearby, hiding in the bushes or whatever. But they get that social anxiety that is there to protect them, to tell them, okay, there's a threat here right now. There's someone here who, if given the chance, will fucking kill you. You know, and in society, that's not a clear and present danger. It's not a direct threat because of, you know, thank God, I suppose, laws and rules and whatnot. Um, but yeah, all the time when you get social anxiety, it's because there's an evil person around that has probably just thought they want to kill you. Not to make you paranoid or anything, but it's a good thing to know. It's like a system, as Soul Reed's talking about, I guess. Um, Having a system for understanding things makes it easier to understand, which makes it a bit easier to control. So yeah, long story short, I agree. You can definitely like let it escalate or let it become something that it's not, or make it more than it is. You know, people do have mental problems. They're brain damaged from trauma. Um, so sometimes, yeah, you can maybe even see it where it's not there. Although, who knows? No one can ever really say for sure whether or not someone was someone had those kind of thoughts or feelings about you. They will deny it if confronted. So, but yeah, just in general. Social anxiety is because we're surrounded by a lot of evil people, or people with a little too much evil DNA in them, and that's their energy, and you pick up on the energy, and it doesn't feel comforting, nurturing, warm, or safe, and so therefore you default to fight or flight. Does any of that resonate with you? You're like, sorry, what was that? I was taking a piss. Do you mean the internet is like a technology of something we knew in the past? Yeah, 20% of our brains. Have you seen the movie? Has anyone seen the movie Lucy? Um, because that's what that movie's about. She takes this drug that it's like they live, they use like a like tangible physical kind of way to tell a metaphorical story of um unlocking higher levels of consciousness. But I would say when they say we only use, when they use that kind of very general kind of like COVID kind of speak, like we're all in this together kind of bullshit. Wait, just to challenge you a little bit, didn't Hitler sort of do that stuff? But wait, I'm looking at the chat. I should be there. But um, you know what I mean when they say like we only use 20% of our brains. It's probably they're referring to NPCs, which is the majority. Therefore, legally, it's like a loophole where they can say uh, they can specify we if it's most people. But I would say if I'm only using 20% of my brain, imagine like what am I trying to say? Something smart, but it's not working. So yeah, I'll take 20%. I was gonna say like, what the fuck would 25% look like? I'd probably be able to find the door like Truman did in that movie. What was it called again? I do pretty good in crowds. That's interesting. I do pretty good in crowds. Um, it's it depends on the crowd, I suppose. I've talked about this before, but at the gym, it's scary. I found out that the gym I go to is like in an area where they have a lot of bikie gangs and drug violence and shit, and that's it makes sense. It makes sense with the sort of people I see there. A lot of face tattoos. But like when I'm in a place like that, um, yeah, I don't know. I still get a kick out of it. I take it as a compliment, knowing that all these people are threatened of little old me. Very funny. Very, very flattering. Also, yeah, also if you haven't like oh, what how do I put it? Like if you're not really like owning yourself yet or like that kind of thing, I think for women it's even worse dealing with that sort of thing. Like because women are more emotional. They pick up on others' emotions a lot more readily than men, even empathetic men. So you are probably feeling a lot of jealousy and envy from other women. You're feeling that, and because I can tell you're really empathic, you're like a sponge for that sort of thing, and it makes you feel so many different horrible things about yourself. You're basically like reading all these other jealous women's minds. That's the way that I see it because like you mentioned crowds, like that being a real problem for you. I'd say because you're empathic and other women are really they send like psychic attacks to other women, whereas men use physical gesturing. Men use like just a look or a sneer or like a lack of eye contact, kind of bravado kind of thing. Men sort of display those things. Women do too, obviously, but women won't really stop there. So maybe that's why. Yeah, well, that's what I say. Who knows how true any of that sort of stuff is? People being hijacked by empty people being hijacked by demons and whatnot. Um, it's probably true, but also, most people, they're operating on programming to begin with, and these days it's psychopathic. So if people are still watching what's current, they're going to be a lot worse than people who stopped watching TV 5, 10 years ago. Well, I people watch a lot, and I get watched a lot too. So I see it from both sides. So the way that people react to others. Can I for the what the fuck? Hold on. Yeah, exactly. I agree. Things are easy and simple. I couldn't even say easy, but things are challenging if you're still processing them mentally, or emotionally, I suppose. Yeah, it's funny how people with no self-awareness can get really far in life just because I mean they usually have parents with no self-awareness who just tell their dud kid that they're the best and everything they do is great. And yeah, just like having an insane sort of confidence and self-belief about yourself. That goes a long way. You were saying the other day, fake it till you make it or whatever. It's not necessarily faking it. It's if you've got it, you got it. It's sort of show it until you grow it. Is that clip that? I think maybe that's probably more what it is. Show it till you grow it. Because it goes back to that shit that I got chat banned from fuckhead. What's his name? See, I don't even remember his name. It goes to show how little he means to me. Um, it's bothering me though. I really want to remember. Um, yeah, that shit about we already know everything we need to know. We like it's just a matter of like remembering, being reminded. Steven, that's it. But shit like that, like evil people do stuff like that to create an energetic cord, so that like every time you think about them and what they did to you, they get like a little bit of vicarious solution. It's like it just comes in, like via fax. Oh wow, okay, okay. Just had a package delivered. Good thing I wasn't shouting like stuff that was too insane. That's like most people, like that's NPCs in general, is that they succeed early on and then just like everything goes to shit. Because that's like nearly all people. And we know that the majority probably aren't the aren't the best. Yeah, I agree with that, Alicia. But what does make a person whole? So, Reed, do you think he enjoys being called out? Because it's that thing I was mentioning about like the energetic chord where like you're showing him that you still care, that it still meant something to you. Like I'm not saying that it does, but that might be like why where he's coming from. Soul Trap is nihilism. Um, you mean like reincarnation? That's oh, okay, yeah. Yeah, exactly. Like you're glutton for punishment. That's why someone would get to the end of this life and be like, "Oh, I want to do that again," or like, "Give me another shot of that." Like, pardon me. Like they would have to, yeah, they'd have to have a kink for that sort of thing. Then, like, maybe that's why I came here this time, but now I'm really learning. Oh, okay. I don't think I'm that stupid. I'm pretty sure. Oh, either the devil forced me here, or I don't know, some shit. That's um, Bobby, you might have a lot of real people around you, and you just are too afraid to talk to them. Or maybe they're too afraid to talk to you. You're both afraid, because you've both been traumatized. Maybe I don't know. I don't really see any upsides to being awakened in this realm. It's kind of like what I was saying the other day. It's like having a superpower. I don't know, where you can fly and every other person has wings. You know, it's like yeah, you don't need wings to fly, but they're like, so I can fly. Like everybody, there's nothing you can do about anything. Is what I'm saying here. It doesn't change anything if you know something deep, secret, even revelatory. If you can't sell it, it doesn't mean anything in a physical world, and you can't really sell knowledge or ideas. You can only convey them or share them. But that's why like it has no value too. It not only if it's valuable, no one can tell it's valuable. Yeah, I mean it's disempowering to get to this point where you're like you already know the ending of the movie. You can like you can't enjoy it anymore because you can see the strings, you can see the boom is in shot, what have you. You know what I mean? You can't enjoy it anymore and no one can relate to you anymore. You've just got to get through the filming of it. And at the end, that's where the good stuff comes to you. Whereas everyone else, it's the reverse. I guess they feel like a lot of good stuff is coming to them while they're here, and they're terrified of the end, because that's when it all stops. But it's the opposite for a spiritual person. Well, who's telling me that I don't know what that word is, doomed, you lose. You're only allowed like 3.5 hours on Reddit max in your human existence, and you were on there for like 14 days. Um, like, who the fuck is telling me this? Like, anyone who tells me something like that like I the way that I dealt with a challenge and all that sort of stuff was the wrong way to go about it, you know? I don't no one can judge you when you die. That's why I'm really I I believe in the concept that they can only trick you because you can't tell God what to do. You can't judge God. He judges, or they judge. Sorry, I don't mean to offend. But you know what I mean? Like, they're not gonna be like, "Oh, you incel, why didn't you go for the promotion? Like, you pussy." Like, no one's gonna treat you like that in a highly spiritual place. They're gonna do what a good parent should do, and they're gonna pat you on the back and say, "You know what? I'm proud of you. You did well." They'll bring up the stuff that you did do well. They'll frame it in a way where the stuff that you didn't do was courageous, because no one has the balls to not go through with that, but you did. You were the only one who stood alone in your life. You were the only one who said, "No, thank you." I think they'll respect the heck out of that. The other thing, like, you got so much, you did so much. So what? None of it was real, dummy. But now we learned something about you. You do things. We know why you do things, and it's for yourself, in heaven, we have this policy of taking care of each other. And we find that people who like to do things for their own enjoyment, first and foremost, aren't quite worthy. you know, in a matter, in a matter of speaking. That's what I think they would say. Ultimately, yeah, it is you judge yourself, I guess, because all angels are like related. They're all the same race, like there's a stereotype about them. They're not identical people, but the way they look at things and the way they understand all the different sides to a story, they tend to go with the person who didn't do something over the person who did. Well, my belief in myself in this world, it doesn't just end at whatever age I die. My belief in my consciousness, because I think that's what consciousness is, it's it goes forever. It never ends. So the way that I see judging others and myself, I would see that's how I will be judged at the end of this. So I'm living for the judgment right now. It's all in preparation. Like I said, it only feels like forever because they made up time. If we're like unconscious right now, um, this is a dream, VR, whatever. We've probably only been out for like a minute, but it's meant to feel like it goes forever because then it tests who you really are. they're testing to see. Um, it's a lot of it is self restraint and self reliance. But I'm also probably just speaking from a fortunate fucking place where most people aren't as lucky as me to not have to work really and stuff. That's what the Buddhists see. I don't know anything about anything. The Buddhists, that's what they say. But like Buddhism, like all the other organized religions, is bullshit, obviously, right? Yeah, that sounds pretty boring. It's weird too that their god is like that fat dude. Um, you know what I mean? Like, what's that about? Because most monks are healthy, aren't they? Did Buddha just have like big bones or something? He had a he had a thyroid condition or something. Western culture, which is Jewish culture, right? Probably. It looked more like he was maybe a wrestler, like Buddha was fat, right? So have I offended you? Are you a Buddhist? Buddhist? Does anyone else know about this stuff? Hmm. Huh. I had to look up what the word ideals means. I do know what it means. It's just I wanted to have a specific meaning for it so that I could understand. Yeah. It's like an objective viewpoint. Do Asians look like that because they're the closest in they share the most DNA with gray aliens? Do you know what I mean? Because they're like a similar sort of color and like the gray aliens, like how say they have those big black eyes, those are actually apparently like sunglasses or contact lenses that they put over their naturally sort of smaller, beadier eyes, because they can't take in too much sunlight because I guess they're vampires, right? that would have been a lot easier back then to give up all earthly possessions. It's not like today where, you know what I mean? Like everyone needs 5 phones or something. Like they didn't even have phones at all when he gave up all possessions. So like that's as time goes forward, that becomes less and less realistic, that whole Buddhism stuff, which I guess is by design because whoever concocted that stuff probably had the roadmap for the future and whatnot. I didn't see that. Not all depictions of Buddha are fat. Is that another thing like what they did with Hitler, where it's just a smear campaign by the Jews? Because it's like he's another one of those dudes who was like, again, you're telling me he's basically said stuff that I believe in, like Hitler, like Hitler. Um, so yeah, like they did that. They made Buddha fat as well in the like for the public to take on that sort of negative connotation. Yeah, kind of projection of him. I'm just not into the sort of the cult aspect of Buddhism, I suppose, where it's like it almost seems like happy prison or something. Well, Hitler would have loved him. Happy prison. I forgot I even said that. Um, well, that's what it seems. Just I've seen some things on Buddhism, and it's just like it's almost like those guys that cut their own dicks off or whatever. Or has anyone seen Begonia? With the swastika, like that may be the case, but when I see the swastika, it still has maybe it has a sort of a negative sort of connotation to it. Like visually, to me, it seems to communicate something that's not good. Was maybe it's the color scheme because that's all sort of very harsh, you know, red, black. That's satanic. I mean, that's how we've come to know it. Yeah, well, I say that shit. That I guess is that why you're saying that? Because that's like the type of stuff that I say. I should become a deity. Create a scam religion. That's a good idea. Yeah, exactly. Okay, so wait, am I actually because I do think I feel like I am enough and like I don't really need to prove anything. It's just like I've got to like I exist for however until whenever I get to leave, right? So lately this is the thing that I find kills time the fastest, but flaky legs. Um when I'm in a good mood, yeah, I don't need anyone or anything, and like that's when stuff sort of comes to you, but it's like, well, that was nice, but I don't need that. Like, but when you're not and you're like looking for it, it's like torture or like wanting to. um, oh yeah, okay, because like I'd only seen like a documentary where it was a sausage factory. We? I thought you said you weren't a Buddhist once you found out about this 80% good-looking women stuff. Yeah. Well, I think I've just shifted into sort of more positive gear of self-delusion just now. This is great. Oh, right. It was a different, this wasn't Buddhism. That's charming. Um, okay. Um, what was the purpose of this cult though, initially? Like what? It wasn't like one of those, what the fuck? What's that bears thing? Not Berenstein, Berenstein. Um, you seem like a really proactive sort of dude, Soul Reed. Like you seem to really like to get out and get amongst it and stuff. Like you've been like all the yeah, pretty much everything you've mentioned so far has been like about connecting with other people, doing panels, Discord, um, joining cults. Um, has anyone else been in a cult before? I was trying to save the planet. That's funny, Alicia. It's the what's that word? There is always like they say there's always a reset throughout history. Like all the elements are there. The tidal waves, the volcanoes, that's pretty much all you need. The storms. Um, all that stuff. It's all built in as a way to, when they want to press the button. Or like if you want to look at it as Earth is a living, breathing entity in of itself, it probably is. I mean, there's a picture of Earth being on the back of like a giant turtle or whatever. And that's probably true. Because like I say, like all the food that comes from the ground is made for the living to eat. Um, but anything that is born on the ground is not meant to harm other things that are born onto the ground. There are exceptions, obviously. Predators exist. Who knows how or why? But they're different, obviously, to the natural beings. Huh. So that is that what the Kalergi plan is? Yeah, I was complaining about this camera before that it makes me look different. My eyes are actually blue, but they look some sort of weird darker color here. My dad had blue eyes. Does that count? Would that help me dodge the gas chamber? I don't think there's any truth behind the eye color being an evil thing, unless maybe they're red or completely black. Was that blue-eyed thing because like Jews have darker eyes or something? I don't know. So the blue-eyed stuff was once again Jewish propaganda. I thought that I was Scottish, German, um, Italian, but semi-recently found out that my dad's dad wasn't his real dad. My dad's dad was a 33rd degree Freemason, who owned a butcher. Yeah, he was a butcher. He owned his own shop and had his own farm and killed his own animals and shit. He was a good guy apparently. But yeah, my dad's real dad was a dude who was like French. So um, um, like I said before, more of a truth mutt or a what's the other thing I call? Truth. Oh yeah, honest mutt. That's the other thing. That's yeah. It's my dad's actual dad, like their side was like really sort of messed up and artistic, whereas what what my dad thought his father side was like super straight laced, like waspy kind of like total opposite. So it's like crazy that how different my dad might have turned out if he had actually known his own father. Because like my dad was like a really smart, funny guy. But he was an accountant, which is like the most boring job in the world. So like, oh, another thing when I drink, I've got this fucking giant mug. I got like, I'll admit it, I am a tiny person. It's a normal sized mug. It's actually a small novelty mug, and he's got a big personality too. That would come in handy a little bit for an insurance guy because if you need some sort of personal charm and whatnot to convince people of that scam. Yeah, Bobby, most people don't have empathy or they don't have enough empathy. They maybe have just enough for themselves and then like when forced to care about someone else, they're spreading it thin. So there's no hope they're ever gonna sincerely care about the life of an animal. But was he good at it? Good at selling insurance? I imagine so, right? Because he made a career out of it or whatever. But did he ever say that he regretted that he wanted to do something else? Was he one of those like I could have been somebody kind of guys? Well, my sister's the one who looked into our family history, and she did that initially, having wasted a lot of money because it wasn't really our family history. Oh, but what from the initial one, she didn't do one after because she also found out about my dad's real dad, so she did actually learn something true. Um, the family history stuff, yeah, when it broke down all the nationalities that my family has, it was like 16 different race no, I don't maybe not races, but different countries and stuff, and it's like, I'm ashamed to admit, but there was, like, a little bit of Jew in there, like 2% maybe, but that could have been from my because it was the test was done on the assumption that my dad's dad was actually his dad, so maybe that's where, that and the Freemason stuff. They have princesses in Germany? I didn't even know they had kings. Feel free to correct me that they do actually have royalty in Germany and I'm just a retard, because that's probably the case. Especially once the camera's on. That's the other thing too. I'm really smart when the camera's not on. I don't know exactly how it works, Bobby. It feels, I think, like deliberately obtuse. Like there's no real pattern to it. It's like everybody's different, so they might just be projections. Like everybody's personality, like once you talk to another physical being, whatever their personality, it might just be a projection of something in you, but you don't see it because their face looks different, their vibe is different, their voice is different, etc. And so they're just telling you about yourself and things like that. And you're like, "Oh wow, I like that person." It's because you like you, you know? And then you can talk to probably real people. I assume that's what's going on here, but who the fuck knows? Um, and it's very easy. And then I think the way to tell that you're not talking to yourself is that they'll tell you stuff that you didn't know. Like you learn things about yourself by talking to other people sometimes, but what I mean is, like in this instance, they're teaching you stuff about history and all these different words and ideas and stuff, which doesn't really happen in social settings. It's more like, "How's it going? What have you been up to?" Blah blah blah. You know. So if you ever talk to someone and they tell you something that you didn't know, it's probably a real person. You can have, like, for instance, you can have conversations about this sort of stuff, conspiracy realm topics, with most people these days, if not all people. Actually, that's not true. I have tested it before. It's not all people at all. But with most people, you can. It's because they all use the internet. NPCs, they all use the internet. If it's like The Sims, they're programmed to go home and scroll, doom scroll or whatever. So they will be exposed to these ideas and concepts on purpose because they had, like I've said before, they had to upgrade the NPCs to blend in better as real people became more aware of the game. So, like, you know, it's like the boiling frogs or whatever that is, where they're just turning the heat up slowly. So they're turning the IQ and the spiritual intelligence up on NPCs by making them aware of Epstein files and all that sort of stuff, so that you don't completely break them when you bring up esoteric sort of topics. How do I? That looks a bit better, but I don't know. Hmm. What do you think the reason could be? Because to me, the point of life seems to be to suffer, so that when you get to the end, you'll be traumatized enough to say, uh, "No, thank you." It's a this world is a loose harvesting. It's a farm, you know, a prison, whatever. You know, so like I'd say the point of life on this planet is suffering. Passovers. Like we awaken to more as we like progress through the dream. That's the see good while you're young thing. Hold on. Ugh. That's the trap. Nostalgia is like their biggest. That's like my brain's not working too good today, but you know what I mean. That's like one of their best cards or whatever that they like to use. Um, it's like how you'll do like they say people who do heroin or whatever, they're always chasing the dragon because it's like that first time they experience it, they'll spend a lifetime on heroin trying to relive that experience. And it's the same thing for a lot of substances. I was saying yesterday or someday, probably not yesterday, the other day. Um, that's like a lot of things that I've done, like alcohol and other stuff. Your initial, if you haven't done it in a while, it's like fucking, it's the best thing ever. And then you do it 2, 3 more times, and you're like, why the fuck isn't this working? And it's like the brain, the way it's coded, um, decides whether or not you'll have a good time to trap you in your addiction, which is all in favor of trapping you here. Um, and that's why I believe they probably even for me chose. I don't know how it works, but like I enjoyed being a kid and whatnot too. Um, but yeah, I mean, it wasn't so good that I would ever want to do like come back here and live in a world like this. Well, if I was to program a video game on this scale, I would probably have to be dealing with like some sort of hardware limitation, some sort of like memory limitation. And so for the best way, the easiest way to code a living, breathing world that the user, the person playing the game finds most engaging is to really just reflect aspects to themselves that they're not fully conscious of and have that's how it's programmed, that it's all a mirroring sort of thing rather than having to code 7 billion personalities and lifestyles and beliefs. You have a running program of media set up in the game which takes care of a lot of that gives them the flavor. But when you talk to people individually, the ones who aren't players, which are in the players are in like the only 10% of the people in this 7 billion person game, um, that you're really just reflecting back. Yeah, they're not like using up a lot of hardware or memory by interacting with you because it's a projection. So it's real easy for the game to just run like a filter. Um, what else? I don't know if I'm channeling here or just really good coffee. But and then I've noticed this too. I made a video about it, like the odd time where you do meet with another real person. The matrix it goes into Truman Show mode where people literally walk up and interrupt your conversation and they'll do all that gang stalking stuff where they mob you and it's like why are there like 70 people standing right next to us right now not talking? Stuff like that. Or like, why did that guy sit down right next to us with his paper, like looking at us but not looking at us? Shit like that'll start happening once you start interacting with a real person because it's like they'll do whatever they can to not have the game crash. And it probably isn't, you're not really supposed to run into another player because the game's meant to be programmed on a projection basis. And if you're both focusing on each other and you're not rendering any projection in between players, all the other fucking things are going to start glitching bad. And they do. So they start like having to literally get moderators to come in and be like, do something or break it up, or someone has to call right now. Someone has to call, you got to go. Empathy. So you see, saying like empathy is a weakness. I don't know if gifts are given. I think that they're just normal traits in a better place. You know, I've said before. You know, like how what they show in musicals, how people can just break into a catchy song to express themselves, like that, like Donald Marshall says he can do. Um, that's what I think. You know, like musicians are like outside of this body. It's like being drunk and happy, like times 100,000. You can really just channel anything and create anything. And that's what I think. Like talented people, it could be for anything. I'm just talking about the stuff that I know. Um, And so, like, when they come to this place, they only got 20% of that, you know, like the 20% of the brain thing you were talking about. So I don't know if gifts are given here. They're just sort of like more acknowledged or seen as that because nothing here is meant to be exceptional. And exceptional, basically, I think that's what gets you killed is being better than other people is what gets you in trouble here. S- I mean, I guess that corresponds to empathy. What's understanding people too far? Because like I want to have an understanding of myself that is complete. Um, yeah, the playing the game thing isn't the ones who play the game aren't they just the game? Because the game is running it runs itself in front of you as a demo to entice you to play. So the other people that do things and have stuff and they make it look like, oh, that's so shiny, me wanty kind of stuff. That's just an ad. I think there's a Poppy song, Life. What the fuck's that? Hold on. It might be kind of what I'm trying to say a bit more poetically. Poppy funeral dress. I guess that's what it's called. Oh, it's going to know what I meant by that. I want the lyrics. No, it has no idea. Oh, it's church outfit. Well, if you know that, then give me the lyrics to church outfit. What did I call it? Funeral dress. Both are good. Meanwhile, everyone's like, they all know exactly what I'm talking about and they've recited the lyrics. Actually, like, no one fucking cares, but. And then it sends me to a website anyway? Okay. Life is a commercial for death. Anger is something I work to manifest. Life is a commercial for death, and you're hypnotized by the advertisement. So that's kind of what I was getting at with like how life is always going on. It's always like shoved in your face. It's to be like, hey, look how happy you could be if you just play the game. So it's the game running a demo of itself, you know, hoping that you'll be like, yeah, I want to play. When you have kids, it ruins life. It ends life. By creating life, you end your own. People against suicide. I would rather blow my fucking brains out than have a kid and have to spend the next half of my life wanting to blow my fucking brains out. But then being like, no, then it will be really bad because like I have kids. Hold on, guys. Stop fucking wearing pants. A shitload of comments. Hmm. Having kids, it's like sort of a form of narcissism, isn't it? Like wanting a clone of yourself or something like that. I know that it's not universally how why people have kids, but I suppose it's different for women because women have that like really nurturing, caring if they're good women, they have that like natural nurturing kind of side to them, and yeah, you would have a sort of yearning and a wanting and a need for that kind of relationship. Um, whereas I think for guys, it's um, they're just more protective naturally, and they want to make sure that the people who are important and matter to them are safe and well. So yeah, could it also be like a wanting to heal the child within, that if your parents didn't do the best job, that you feel, oh, if I had a kid, I could right all those wrongs, and then that would make me feel better, that would heal me. It might even be on a subconscious level. I'm not saying it's wrong, but I'm trying to understand it. The matrix outside the matrix. um I would say that's occupation, but it's not like work the way that we are meant to see it in this world, which is just slavery with extra steps, as they say. I think that you have a purpose. Whatever sort of skills you have would be how you make a living in heaven, and it's probably not on a money system or anything like that. Um, but yeah, you're able to do what you're good at, and be recognized for that. Yeah, that's exactly right. Yeah, most men, honestly, the rarity of good men, it's less than 1%. Most are either psychos or like not like completely, but they either veer too much on psycho, which is alpha male, or they're a little too passive, which is beta male. Very, very, very few get it just right. Um, and yeah, exactly the same for women too. I understand that. Um, not quite in the exact same ways, but whatever the female equivalent of those negative traits are. Um, it's probably all that Jewish DNA, like what they were doing, trying to. I've always said they killed the good man on the Titanic. I'm pretty sure one of the reasons they invited all the immigrants on was to make sure that all those guys didn't breed with the women in America, because they actually had like some sort of angelic DNA or whatever you call it. I love love. What do you think of love? I don't hate it. I think we're killing time, or time is killing us. Like everything's backwards. So when they say killing time, it's actually like caveman speak, time killing. They probably did. That's when they brought the moon in. Those are the natives that saw the moon for the first time, cavemen. And they said they noticed they woke up the next day with more, they for the first time, hair on their pillow. And they looked in their caveman mirror. I'm imagining this is much like the Flintstones. Um, and they looked up to that moon and they said, "Time killing." Then the Jews found out, and they reversed it to mock them. Yeah, it's that was like a 9/11, the Titanic. And what else? The Hindenburg too, probably. Jesus had just reincarnated, and he was up on he was taking a flight on the Hindenburg. What's your method there, Soul Reed? Is it mostly just pulling out? Because it's crazy to me to think, like sex ultimately is just made for procreation. It feels good to encourage people to procreate, right? Like, but like unless a woman is on the pill, which isn't a good thing, it's not natural at all. That it seems like pulling out being the only method is kind of strange. If you think about it. I understand, yeah, you could wear a condom, and I'm sure you'll say you do all the time and whatnot, but uh, have you considered becoming a historian or anything like that? Because you seem to have a lot of, I suppose, useful knowledge. Like, was Jesus black, like they say? Was he even real? Because like that's another thing that I've just sort of winged my with my opinions, that Jesus is basically a parable, like it's a moral story. It's sort of like a composite character. Like Jesus was probably a composite for the Gnostics, you know? Yeah, because it's one thing I noticed with the overarching point moral story of Jesus is that essentially the Jews are telling the Goyim, this is what happens when you step out of line. You know, the whole point isn't like, wow, that Jesus guy's so good, he died for our sins. Like as if anyone that fucking doesn't even make any sense. Um, as if it's that. It's like it's literally like a cautionary tale. If you do the right thing, if you're a good person, we're gonna fucking kill you. That's what the story of Jesus is. At least the crucifixion aspect, which is all anyone really focuses on. He probably wasn't ugly though. No one's going to pay any attention to an ugly dude. Like no one's gonna care about them. Dispel our magic, is that like what does that mean? Like standing up to them or something? So the Jews kind of pulled a Hitler on him. That's what they and same with Buddha, that's what they do with all these good guys or whatever. Oh yeah, exactly. Truth. Yeah. I think the positive takeaway from the Jesus stuff is that it's like don't let others get you down or whatever. You know, don't let them drag you down to their level. Okay, so it's completely dead. Hold on. Now I know to get up from this side so you don't see that I'm naked from the waist down. It sounds like you're talking about Hitler again. It sounds like you're talking about me. Well, you know, when I had more facial hair and longer hair and whatnot, I would, if anyone was going to say anything to me, they would say, "Hey, it's Jesus." And my friend at the time actually said, what if you actually are? Like, and there's other stuff that I believe where, like, the world will tell you about yourself, and it'll, it's all in favor of remembering. Yeah. Well, I guess that ship will sailed for me. Men tend to age better than women because they don't put makeup on their skin, which is made to it's made to age them. It's made to destroy their skin. I don't think Alicia wears makeup or doesn't leave the house, so there's no need. Okay. This is becoming quite crass. Hmm. That's it. Is that a thing? Like, is that I only leave the house to go to the gym, and once I'm out, I get lunch at like the mall or whatever. Well, I can say as one of the extremely rare straight men on earth that women don't look good with makeup. Only ugly women need to wear makeup to look like women. Makeup covers the natural radiant glow of a woman's skin, which is what a straight man would be attracted to. One of the many things, but um, yeah, makeup was invented for men in theater because they didn't allow women to appear on stage. So men had to play women. It's fucking gay. And so it was invented for transvestites. So it's a total mockery to all women um, that they should have to wear makeup to look like women when it was in fact invented for men. And so most women, unless they're really good at it, they end up a lot of the time making themselves look like clowns in a way, or like trannies. A little bit here or there. Nobody's perfect. It's like obviously I use facial hair and things like that to look more presentable. So, although I grow this on my own fucking face, there is a difference. It's why I'm just trying to say why men are better than women. That's all. That's healthy. There was a to get out at least once a day because there's been many periods in my life where that was not a given that I would leave the house per se, unless you're counting to like, oh, I don't know, like take the trash out or something. You mean actually like leaving your premises? Bobby, out in the woods, is that where you were talking about how people will just suddenly appear? Makeup is makeup is as natural as I don't know, I fucking can't I literally can't think. I don't know. It's as natural as oxygen. It's just it's always been there. It would be like, okay, the origins obviously would be like face painting or something like that, right? Camouflage for cavemen who, they wanted to not get eaten by a T-Rex or some shit. But what I'm saying is its modern day application is it's gay. Yeah, I had a friend who she had all these, I don't know, Cleo and like teen girl magazines, and I was looking through them for, the articles or whatever. But which is good because I ended up reading one I ended up reading the shit in there, and it was crazy how normalized makeup and like becoming the new you and all this stuff about like telling people that they're not enough, and it was like, "Holy fuck, this is overt," but I couldn't tell if it was only overt to me because I was, like, not a teenager when I read it, or if I was a guy, or if I'm just not, like, retarded. Fake and gay. What's a heavy advantage? Probably gonna talk about having orgies or something. They appear to annoy and apologize for annoying. Yeah. Well, you can tell I'm not one of those guys because 'cause I'm not going after anybody. Well, he didn't seem straight. He didn't seem gay to me, but he didn't seem straight. Having boner pills makes you more attractive? What the fuck? What's that stuff called? Viagra. Women can sense that you're on Viagra. Oh, are you talking about semen retention? Imagine semen retention on Viagra. Oh, you mean have kids too, right? Maybe. I wonder if anyone's, how they have the no fap communities and whatnot, all that semen retention stuff. Someone should like take Viagra and market themselves that way as being like, I'm so hardcore that I have a boner 24/7, right? They're taking like a shit ton of testosterone too, and they're on day 300 of semen retention. I think that would sell. That would be crazy. It doesn't even have to be true. It's just if the person plays it straight, they play it like, you know, whatever. And right, who's with me on this? Yeah, yeah. I must have had like 700 kids that I don't know about. Are you talking about like pheromones? Because I don't know if I've ever smelled anyone's pheromones. I suppose I have. Maybe I don't have any. Yeah, I can't smell anything. I don't, which is a good thing. Yeah, yeah, it was like a high concept joke, I suppose. I was just saying it would be absurd for a person who's on Viagra to you know what I mean? It was meant to be crazy. Okay. Yeah, I know. You said that you like used to buy them in a can or something. No, but some people do have a smell. They have their own smell, you know? Can you not smell your own smell? Because if I put something on it, it'll smell like something. Because you can buy, yeah, you can buy pheromones. I was talking about that before. I might need to actually buy some pheromones. Right? Does BO count? Is that just as good? No, I'm serious. Is that because? Okay, well, I might be a weirdo, but I'm not a huge fan of BO. Uh, I think it's more like when maybe you could have good BO, but a lot of the time at the gym, like when a dude isn't using deodorant and it just smells like you don't have meat pies in Australia, but it smells like a meat pie that's gone rancid. That kind of thing. Like diarrhea almost, like armpit diarrhea. Surely that can't be attractive. They're not even human ones. Is that why like sometimes dogs hump people's legs? Because they bought the Spanish flea from the gas station vending machine. Yeah, okay, that might be it. Oh, holy shit! It's nearly 10 o'clock. Um, yeah, okay. So what is today? Leg day. I don't give a shit about that. Yeah, it's like I don't eat 100% raw food, so um, it's probably just like all the preservatives. It's fucking hard to go completely raw. Oh, it's yeah, in the morning here. It's I know it's hard. It looks like it's nighttime, although I mean that's like I think that's some, God, that's hard. There, that's like sunlight, if you can see there. Um, it tends to be better the later I leave it because it's like 90% steroid kind of rapey kind of guys there, but they sort of clear out as the morning goes, so couldn't hurt to get there a bit late today. No, absolutely not. Never. No. Um, the only people, hold on. The only person that's talked to me at the gym, the one I've been going to for like 2 months, maybe even 3 months at this point. Um, so yeah, I'm pretty sure this is true. Yeah, so like this dude is like, oh fuck, no, I'm not even gonna talk about it. No, it's so embarrassing because like I'm saying this stuff that is meant to bode well for me in person, but like on camera, I look fucking horrifying. Um, but it's Wednesday here, and that's traditionally, universally the worst day, I think. But it is for me. Like I said, it's leg day. Monday's pretty bad for most people. Sunday's pretty bad. Like nearly, I'd say like Friday and Saturday are like the only good ones. Um, Yeah, well, I'm trying to fuck. The only other person that's like struck up a conversation with me is like this other like this really good looking dude, right? I I go to the gym and for the most part I'm not threatened by anyone I see there. Like I said, I'm better looking in person. You'll have just believe me. Um and but then this day I saw this dude, I'm like, holy fuck, that's like a good looking version of me. And like, yeah, I've never been intimidated by a person. And so like most of the dudes there, they're like meatheads who just they get in my proximity to intimidate me. I can just feel it. Um, and this dude was like working out in the same area, and I thought, okay, just well, I'm not going to look at him, blah blah blah. I don't want things to be awkward. But he ends up asking me, like, do I like metal? And I had to say, oh, sorry, what was that? And then he just like totally normal asked me if I like metal, which was weird because I wasn't wearing like a metal shirt, and I don't think he'd seen me before. But just had a conversation about the shit music they play there, and like it was strange to me. I didn't look at this guy, so he wasn't given any sort of like nod or smile of acknowledgement or whatever. But like I said, it's like a really, really attractive guy, like, and it was just strange to me. The only person who's struck up a conversation with me was that dude, and it's like, he might have thought like I was a different kind of person. Like he might have thought that maybe, like we could team up or whatever. But like, I don't know, because like the conversation, I just talked about music, and then it sort of petered out a little bit. But that's pretty much, yeah, that's the only person who's tried to converse with me. I don't do it with other people. Um, 33rd degree. That fucking could be. Oh yeah, true. There wasn't any handshake or anything though. I was like just like sort of looking in another direction, and he asked me a question, so I had to turn and say, "Oh, sorry." And then yeah, he was just asking me about music. I think because of my long hair and my vibe or whatever, that he thought I listened to metal. I have no idea. Maybe other people talk about me, and he'd heard that I wear like Metallica shirts or some shit. I don't know, because like that was the first time I'd seen this guy. Um, but yeah, I mean, most of the time, the first gym I went to, the very first day, this it was like a frenemy type of dude. I found out over time. He was, I think, like a lot of guys, they try to befriend guys like me because they think it gives them access, you know. But like, you'll just have to trust me that in natural lighting, I don't look like a ghoul. There's some videos where I look good, so just look at those, and that's how I actually look. I don't look like this. Like, uh, no, 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 no. I don't think that this dude wasn't gay. I'm not gay, but and having to define what a really, really attractive guy looks like, that's a fucking loaded question. Um, like I said, just imagine me but good looking. Like, although like when I was actually talking to him face to face, I found he didn't have my kind of deep soulful eyes. There didn't seem to be as much going on. He didn't look as insane. Um, there's a scene I saw recently from, I think it's Euphoria, which I don't watch, but like I just saw this scene, and the main character, his dad was talking about how he's fucked a lot of men, but it's not gay. He was just a hedonist, and I've learned that like certain people, they become possessed by like sex demons, and so that's like once they start having a lot of sex with a certain gender, the other gender bleeds in, and it just becomes like, that's why like especially famous people, they become gay. Or it's like at a certain point you're like, why the fuck's he talk like that now? Like, why has he got a lisp and shit? It's because they've been too hedonistic, and now those, it's like blurred lines or whatever that fucking song's about. It's just the way I come across. Because I've got anxiety right now. It's when I drink. Like you'll notice on my drinking streams that my face is less tense. Because like I'm almost shaking with nerves this whole time. So like the way that my face, the shapes my mouth makes, and just everything, the way I hold myself, it's not it's not coming from a place of feeling good about myself. So I'm not projecting my best self um in these videos. And like I said, this lighting, it does not help, you know, because it just casts shadows and highlights things that really wouldn't be noticeable otherwise. Um, but that I don't think I'm ugly. Like I said, I'd never seen anyone at this gym that I thought was a threat to me. You know, so I'm insane. I live in my head that I'm good looking, but in reality, I don't feel that way. I don't know if you guys can relate too, but like being in your head so much, it's almost hard to remember that you have a body. That's how it feels for me, but it's probably just because like um astrology stuff, like I've got Aquarius and that's like very much a mental kind of thing. So I can get stuck in my head and think about what things look like rather than actually like objectively remember the last time I looked in the mirror. Oh, it's yeah, it's fucked up for me. It's really difficult for me. I do believe in myself. I don't believe in anyone else. That's the problem. Present company excluded. Is that um a version of you from the past? Is that like your picture, which you haven't updated in fucking, I don't even know, like 5 years? Do you not look like that anymore? Become a normie? Oh, yeah, yeah, true. Your dad wasn't born in the 80s, right? Yeah, okay. Because, yeah, I was about to feel incredibly old. I've got to get ready soon. I had an idea that if I had my camera set up differently, I'd try on different outfits and it'd be like a movie and everyone could tell me which outfit to go with today or whatever. Um, I do keep saying pretty gay shit though. But I was thinking today of wearing like women's clothing. I say that as if it's an exception to the rule. Um, I have learnt recently though there is like a uniform for the gym, and it's generally all black for men. tank tops, if possible, to show off all your tats and all the hard work the steroids have done. Um, yeah, I think there's two reasons for that, Bobby. Where one, we've gotten really good at masking it, and two, most people aren't very observant. They don't like pick up on micro expressions or things like that. They don't like feel your energy, I guess. Pardon me. Yeah, but just for instance, that the other day where we did that stream, and again, it's probably going to happen in this one. It's happened in the last three streams where I've looked back at the footage and wanted to kill myself. I'm not even fucking kidding. Um, that one we did, it was this same group during the day. It was like a 3 hour one, and my mum came home, and it was so fucking embarrassing. And it's funny, I was looking through the stream, and earlier on, I even telegraph it or whatever, where I'm saying I'm gonna have to like keep an eye on the time. But my mum was supposed to call me, so that I could let her in. But she pulled one of her little tricks where she gets to come in, so I didn't have time to clean up, and I get caught like live streaming, which I didn't want her to walk in and us have a conversation in front of everyone. But on that stream, oh, I wanted to kill myself. So it's not like necessarily that you don't look as bad as you come across. I look like 10 times worse than what I thought I looked like. So now I've got a pretty keen eye though. I'm pretty sure I'm right. Like, I don't know. It would be like, okay, here's a better example. Someone took a really nice picture of a house, right? And then it went through some sort of filter that like made it all dark and shadowy and dark to the point where you can't see things and stuff's distorted and it's a weird ratio. And you're like, hey, check out this nice house I bought. And the person seeing the house, they didn't know what it looks like. They're like, wow, that's pretty cool. But if you saw the real photo, you'd be like, well, I want to fucking live in that house. That's the difference, I'm telling you. Unless these mirrors are fucking trick mirrors. Unless all these people that are walking around or in my vicinity are all just like paid to act that way. Uh, it's definitely this. It's the webcam. I look fine until I click live, and then it degrades the quality. It changes the contrast. It makes the ratio different. There was a stream where I was ranting about it, and it started glitching while I was ranting and like freezing frames on really like, you know what I mean? Like, I forget that I'm monitored 24/7 sometimes. Well, Alicia, you've obviously been in relationships where people validated your appearance, and I imagine. So, did that help at all? Where you were with someone and you had that sense of validation, or did it only last while you were with them? You know, how does that sort of thing work? If it's anything like me, just having people say it is like, oh, that's nice, but I sort of look at it like, well, okay, that's your opinion. You know what I mean? It's never like, it never feels real. You know what I mean? Well, maybe you guys can chat about that. I'm gonna get dressed. Okay, actually, because it's leg day and I don't have to worry about exposing my midriff, which these short shirts can do because they're women's shirts. Which one should I wear? That one, which I'm sort of going for like a Jacob Elordi rugby player vibe, but he's secretly trans. Like where's Waldo, but it's where's Walder, I suppose. Or this one, which is, I would say, the same kind of vibe, but a little bit more kind of uh, what do you call it? A little bit more sophisticated, you know, somehow gayer, even though it's blue. That one or that one. Cast your votes now. Yeah, this is the one I was going to wear, but oh, it's walk with this one, like long black athleisure pants and stuff. And multiple okay. Do you know guys know what mate guarding is? So much of that going on as soon as the guy sees me, he throws his arm around his girlfriend. And it happened like at least 3 times, 3 different couples. Like I come around the corner, immediately the hand goes over the girlfriend. The girlfriend is way prettier than the boyfriend. The boyfriend throws the hand over. As soon as they see me, all 3 times, immediately the girlfriend threw the arm back off. Actually, it happened with the same couple twice. Because I went from one end to the other, so we passed each other twice. Oh yeah, I know. That's why that sort of stuff, it's so validating that like I just feel good from that alone. But like the bad thing is some days it doesn't happen for whatever reason. Like you don't really get a sense that anyone can even see you sometimes. So it is like with all validation, it's a trap. But you guys said number one's the best, right? Is there only 2 people here? Because otherwise, I'm going to assume the others actually like the blue. It was majority blue vote, but it's always like the loudest voices get their way. I probably would have been able to meet my soulmate today if I'd worn this one, whatever his name is. That's funny. Ultimately, I'll decide myself as I do. I dress myself. My test, honestly, for getting ready is I'll walk in front of the long mirror, and if I'll usually say I'll probably I usually laugh at what I see because I'm like, if someone saw that for the first time, like just visually, it'd be like, holy fuck. So like if I walk, I'm like I start laughing at what I see. I'm like, that's it. Not in a clownish way. It's just in a oh the fucking balls to put that together like that. Yeah. Yeah, sometimes I gotta mix it with the hat too. Like you, it's all color coordination, which I imagine women would friggin' that would be could you say turn on? Probably a turn on for women because most guys don't know how to fucking present themselves at all. And for a guy to like do that, it'd be impressive. I'd be impressed. Print looks trashy. Yeah, and you know what? The other thing too, I don't know if it's just like the Matrix gaslighting me or whatever, but on this other day where I was talking about that other stuff, I no joke saw some girl wearing this, right? I look better in it. And yesterday I saw some girl wearing this, and I was thinking, holy fuck, what if like another woman wears that to the gym while I'm wearing it? Like, but therein lies the balls, right? Therein lies the one of the reasons no one would do that, which I only just realized. So I'm not really that brave. I'm just fucking stupid. Yeah. But that is another thing, like in general, like I don't know if it's just Australia, but women are like there's a lot of attractive women here, but I can't tell if they're just mogging the guys because the guys don't present themselves at all. Like they don't. No one, everyone has like the same shitty haircut. Yes, I know that's me talking, but everyone has like a really bad haircut, all the guys I mean, and they're mostly pretty much all like completely clean shaven. They all just like dress in plain black t-shirts and black shorts. If you're lucky, if they've even got that level of like aesthetics where it's just like keep it clean. Um, but like women, they know how to express themselves with their fashion, and so I can't tell if like most people are average or whatever, like or women just like because of makeup and the way they can style themselves, they're like, oh wow, they look good, you know. I mean, I shouldn't even criticize people. Actually, there's no harm in criticizing people, but I'm a hypocrite because I used to be one of those people who didn't like bother dressing like at all, really. It's kind of like an autistic thing, I suppose. That's what I'm going to blame it on, autism, or actually, what was I saying? It was trauma. I wonder why it's only the same 3 or 4 people, like give or take. Like, how come no one else is sort of finding these streams? Like, is that how many bridges are burnt that there's only like 4 people who still want to talk to me? I mean, there was a person called Robin here who I thought she was joking about being offended about my anti-mulatto speech, hate speech, but it's like she didn't say anything after that. So again, as far as I know, that's another person who I've been blacklisted from. Well, Alicia, you said that you used to dress like me when you were a teenager or something, and I chose to take it as a compliment at the time. Um, I had to go lie down after that, after using all my energy. I've sort of moved away from that band shirt stuff, like that baggy sort of Billie Eilish kind of thing. Oh, I have to worry about buffering on top of everything else? At least there's a couple women. Well, Robin, I was asking you about your prison boyfriend. What's going on there? I was also asking, is the majority of people in prison mulatto, or is it just like 99% black people? All that stuff's popular again, so um, if you haven't thrown away your old clothes yet, you could be super popular starting today. Nice pen, man. That's a stretch. Like I'm saying like for him to at this point he's like using anything to try and start a conversation with you. Sounds like he wants to be more than just pen pals. It didn't autocorrect. I assume that's meant to say boobs. Yeah, that's awkward. Autistic shit like that happens to me all the time. I mean, several times during this live stream, just in the last hour, I would say. What you're supposed to say is, "Hey, last time you were asking me about my pen? Yeah, so it's blue. Um, the 90s were good for like um 91, 92, 93, probably 96 at the that's when it really started becoming like corporate and all that sort of stuff. Entertainment in general is better. It was better to have everyone be on the same programming, like I've said, where there's only, a certain amount of channels, there's these big shows, so everyone's it felt more like a community, everyone being brainwashed by Seinfeld and Friends, rather than today where who the fuck knows what anyone is getting their personality or ideas from, right? Porno mainly, I imagine. Oh, well, maybe it's hard to tell, but I'm not worried about being cringe. The crazy thing is I'm actually fucking terrified of being cringe, but I am so cringe I can't help it. So it's still like if you look back at it, it's still bullshit. It's just less obvious. That's all I'm saying about everything in the past, pretty much as far as history that we made to know. Um, it was still just programming people to be depressed and hedonistic and casting aside their morals, but it's like the boiling frogs thing. So even back in the 80s, it was all commercial materialism and sex and drugs and rock and roll and all that. Um, it was just it was more palatable. It was more honest. It had a bit more of the truth to it. It had a bit more creativity and originality to it. It's not like that you can't do that today. It's just that it's obscure to most people's ears. So oh yeah, I mean, pretty much all my favorite bands are from 80s and 90s. I never really listened to any bands from the 70s. And then after the 2000s, it's pretty much nothing. Although these days, I mean, there's bands I listen to, the ones I like the really sort of weird ones these days. Because otherwise, you're just doing something that everyone else has done a million times. Yeah, it's interesting how they killed off all those grunge guys, like specifically, like I've talked about it before. They all committed suicide. That it's just the other thing too. Like it's what I say about culling the good men. Grunge music and all that was good because it was authentic, it was honest, and it was righteous anger kind of stuff, apathy, and reacting to the world as a sane person, having an honest viewpoint about it, and actually exposing it, all that stuff. All those grunge dudes, they're like they weren't ugly looking dudes, like they were good men as well. And so to show it's that kind of Jesus thing, you know that don't listen to these guys. They're fucking losers. They blow their brains out. They hang themselves and all that stuff. I'm more of a Stimpy man myself. I don't know. I don't know, Ren. I listen to 100 Gex. Who have a member who's trans, but they're so talented and on like kind of wavelength that I'll let that slide. Who else? Viagra Boys. Sorry, you're going to get a kick out of them. I'm sure you're big Viagra Boys. You didn't even know they were musicians, but you love them. Um, and Jim E. Brown is funny, but he's not a real musician. Um, oh, Fontaine's DC, they're pretty good. Good and depressed. what's his name? Sam Fender has some really nice lyrics. No, obviously, Kurt definitely didn't kill himself. But it's the same for all those other guys. I think the maybe guy from Laos, Lane Staley or whatever, he probably did just OD. But Cornell didn't hang himself. Who the fuck else? There's been at least one other one. It's interesting how Pearl Jam are like, they've all survived. I I used to think I liked Pearl Jam, but it was really just the Versus album. I don't even like 10 that much. I just don't like how it's produced. I think it doesn't sound like a rock record. It's the songs are great, but like I don't feel them. So I always thought 10 is like, okay, 10 is like experiencing me through this webcam and lighting. That's what I think it's like. It's like, oh, it's such a shame it was presented like that. But Versus, I feel, is really strong and punk. And then I like a lot of their songs, but I don't really like any of their albums. So Alice in Chains, that's the band I meant. He was actually a drug addict, and he probably did just OD in his house by himself. I do know there was some dude who talked to him like on the same day that he probably OD'd. So then there's that kind of thing where maybe that guy gave him really bad drugs or something on purpose because the band was tired of their lead singer being, useless. So they were like, okay, blood sacrifice. We'll make a lot of money in the short term because he just died. Yeah, Black is probably the best song from 10. I like Jeremy a lot. I think that's the type of stuff I really like. It's so it's what do you it's like taking a big risk singing about that. Although I suppose when did Janie Got a Gun? When did that come out? That Aerosmith song? Because if it was before, it probably is just an imitation of that. Because that's a ballsy fucking song to sing about a girl who's been molested at the very least by her dad, and so she fucking kills him. That's a fucking crazy pop song concept. So I think that might have been 1990. And but Lane was never on that level of Kurt or Chris either, where you know what I mean? He wasn't like an iconic sort of figure. He wasn't as hot. That's what I'm trying to say. Yeah, actually, I can check that. Janie got a gun. Yeah. Okay. 1989. Janie got a gun. So that see like when I was talking about even though I like Pearl Jam and the song Jeremy, I realized that Jeremy is basically like an iteration of what Janie Got a Gun established, where it's like this fucking, it's the same kind of slick, cool riff, dark, catchy, high energy, kind of what the fuck, my head's about to explode with the shit that you're singing about kind of stuff. So that, yeah. So Pearl Jam heard Janie Got a Gun and Eddie Vedder, I guess, who wrote the lyrics and whatnot, thought he was going to be super edgy and just copy what Aerosmith did. I think there's a lot of sort of depression. Like, you know how they say they take the records to a Hollywood temple, a satanic temple, and they put curses on the albums or whatever before they release them? But I think that the spells they were putting through with grunge was very much like that suicide thing, which culminated in the death of Kurt Cobain. Um, but that was always kind of like that's how they hijacked it. That was like let's say they're super geniuses. They even saw at the start of it, like the late '80s, where they started, let's take a chance on these kind of sounds or whatever. Like these bands over here, they're doing something. Let's see if we can use this to make people depressed and kill themselves. Because we all know there were a lot of people probably killed themselves after Kurt Cobain killed himself, right? I should be careful with this kind of talk because it's like talking about food when you're hungry. If I talk about the S word too much, I'm gonna feel like doing it. That's what I'm saying, that's what I'm saying. Aerosmith is a cheesy band, and Pearl Jam ripped them off, technically. At the very least, were directly inspired. 'Cause I didn't understand, like, in the early '90s, there was that Nirvana Pearl Jam rivalry, and, like, Kurt Cobain was, like, really against Pearl Jam and stuff, and I guess he was just threatened. He was insecure and threatened by another, band of cool dudes who were popular. But maybe he had that kinda insight because he grew up he experienced those years as they were happening, you know? He wasn't just, like, a little kid. He was, like, a teenager or older as, like, these songs are released, and so he would know, "Oh, that fucking their thing sounds just like this and that was popular a year or 2 ago." Whereas historically, the way that I've been exposed to that whole scene was just like, here's the greatest hits," you know what I mean? I wasn't there every single week being like, "Oh, not another one of these fucking songs," you know? I do understand too, it's in, like, the way the music's presented, like the all that kind of it seems, pretentious, but then you hear Eddie Vedder talk and you're like, "Oh, okay, it's he can't help it. That's actually how he sounds. Poor guy," you know? Yeah, well, Nirvana is the band that I like more, mainly because 'cause they've done that thing where they haven't overstayed their welcome. It's fucking genius. I wish I'd fucking thought of that. Um, but just the members of Nirvana, I like all 3 of them as people, whereas in Pearl Jam, it's like, who the fuck is Pearl Jam? There's, like, 6 people in it, and I don't really know any of them. You know what I mean? Like, I guess they didn't do interviews too much, but, like, even when they did, it's just, like, Eddie Vedder mumbling some shit, about how he, like, is, authentic. But then you watch Nirvana interviews, and it's, like, 3 individuals for better or worse, you know? And it's people being defensive and embarrassing themselves a little bit in a lot of their interviews, like, putting their foot in their mouth constantly, stuff like that where it's like, "Oh, okay. These guys, like, when they express themselves, shit comes out sideways and they can't help it. That's pretty real." So and you get that obviously through Nirvana's music and Weezer's too. And, right, well, I gotta go pee and change. Everybody list your top 3 grunge acts, I suppose, or I don't know. The other people in the chat hate grunge. It's the same thing like with the red shirt vote. If you hate grunge, feel free to speak up because I could probably talk to that point too. I'm a, what do you call it? Sociopath. I can just, I feign opinions and emotions to get the most out of any situation. That might be a surprise. It's because I'm just not very good at it. Well, I'll be back, but I suppose there's no point. Yeah, actually, let's call it. Let's call it a day. Oh, Metaghost is here. Okay. Well, I'll let it. You guys can chat about music or whatever else. Exchange phone numbers. I need to. I don't need to tell you what I'm doing, but I'll be back soon. And if you all leave, that's fine, because then I don't have to think of a funny goodbye. Yeah, that makes sense. There's more people here than ever. What are you garden? Is that a euphemism? I actually need to water my garden, and it's a euphemism. But that's probably just because I have prostate cancer. Oh, okay. It's winter here. Half my shivering is from social anxiety, the other half is from the cold. Hey, just a second. Well, the gayest shoes possible. Mind this. I attempted to iron this shirt, but I'm not sure how successful I was at that. Not very. It just makes it look like I'm not trying, which is good because I'm fucking really trying hard. If I put that backwards, oh, it looks like I'm balding. Okay. How are we going to fix that? I don't know. Maybe wear it right. No, that looks horrible. Okay. Definitely not doing this on camera. Sweep the leg? What does that mean? Oh, Yankees? That's so funny. I don't even fucking know what this is. I just picked it because I thought it looked good with whatever I was wearing at the time. Also, I'm not sure if it's autistic to leave that on. I've seen some people with theirs still on, and it's like I don't know if that like that increases the value for when you want to sell it on eBay or whatever. But I mean, go the Yankees. Oh, okay. Yeah, they might just not even notice they're there because a lot of people aren't very observant. I don't have any tattoos. It's funny, the every single person at my gym, I think, because there might be a couple, but like say let's say there's 50 people there, 48 of them have clearly have tattoos. And like I think like showing more leg or whatever you might be talking about, that's maybe more for like if you want to show off the sleeves you got on your calf or whatever, if that's a thing. Under the brim so you look right at it. I never even thought about well, I probably couldn't take it off and put it there. It's kind of hypnotic. That's probably what made me buy it. Yeah. They come with the sticker, so that's what I saw. I'm just like I saw my own reflection in the shiny little sticker, and there's just something about it, right? They appeal to everyone's narcissism through reflective surfaces. I don't, I'm not sure if that's true. It's true in a small way, it's true in a way where that's probably in there somewhere, but let's hope to God that's not the only reason I bought this hat. It's definitely not for my love of the what did you call it again? Yankees. Yeah, just shiny things in general. Hold on. Oh. Another novelty oversized thing I'm drinking from. Mm, what am I going to do with my hat today? Hold on. Anyway, so fuck. Hmm. I think most people get tattoos from peer pressure. That's my that's how I see it. It's almost like the jab, you know. It seems to be sort of like a if you're not tough on the inside, you want to do something that makes you look tough on the outside so no one can tell you're a weak coward. So that's the impression I get because like all the steroid dudes at the gym, great guys by the way, they all have tattoos. You know, all these angry, insecure men, they all have tattoos. Well, like I was saying about the makeup stuff, there's nothing more attractive than natural human skin. They age you. That's interesting that eventually they're probably going to like instate mandatory tattoos as part of your ID, like that ID that thing they keep showing in movies with the getting the tattoo on the wrist. Military tatted. He's got like he's got a love heart with mom written in it for every Afghani's head he's blown off. You know, it's crazy too that they're all innocent. That like you know they everyone who goes to Afghanistan is pretty much just killing civilians, probably right. Same with like World War II. The reason you don't have any recent pictures, it's you've just got like a swastika tattoo on your forehead or something. There's um there's the swastika, there's Buddha, there's Jesus. You'd think those other two would balance out the swastika, but it doesn't work that way. It's, in some ways, it makes it worse. So that's why you don't work. Lee Priestess, he sounds like a pedophile, but maybe that's just his surname. Is it a love heart with mom written in it? Yeah, tattoos to be specific. I like how it doesn't autocorrect that. It has no fucking idea what you were trying to say. Famous Aussie bodybuilder. I don't know anything about that stuff. I'm not going to the gym for self-improvement. Yeah, I think the gummies are finally kicking in. I should be honest, by the way, guys. I am high off my out of my head on gummies every single time I'm on stream. It probably doesn't help the anxiety. I'm not even kidding. I have to tell you, it's all chemically engineered. This shit. You'll be what in 2 nights? A famous Aussie bodybuilder. Oh, okay, okay. I go Monday to Friday because I just got a lot of time to kill. But it's not really the best to work out most days of the week because you don't give your body enough time to um regenerate and to grow the muscles. Like you need to be not working out for your body to grow your muscles. So yeah, taking breaks is important. And also your cortisol goes up from lifting heavy things. And so like my sleep these days is it's fine. I get about 6 hours, 7 if I'm lucky. But it's definitely better when I'm not working out. Like sometimes I'm forced to take a break and then I'm like, wow, why did I get so much sleep last night? It's like, oh, because my body wasn't fucking full of stress from lifting heavy shit all day. Stem cell shots. Alicia, what are these tattoos? Assuming you're still there, you haven't gone off and cried or something. What's Tinder? Do you mean Tinder? I don't know who. I can't even say that name. Who? How? Diva? Still playing? Is he on gummies? Is that what you're saying? Wait, people are only good at sports because they're on THC gummies? Maybe I should try sports. Okay. Is that like crack or something? Heroin? It's got you're using some like smart sounding medical term so it doesn't seem degenerate. Ah, yes. Novak. Yeah, I forgot I was on a first name basis with him. I know who you're talking about now. Good old Novak. Yeah, I have heard that name. I've seen those vowels and syllables. I mean, I'm not sure if I've ever quite been able to word that. Did Novak Jojo. Hmm. Oh, okay. I guess that's quicker. Hmm. Oh, okay. Well, that sounds fairly tasteful. The kind of stuff I'm talking about is like huge, like even the women at the gym, like they don't even look like they're kind of part of a gang necessarily, but they've got so many tattoos you'd think they are, like wings and stuff on their backs and stuff like that. I think it's maybe going a bit too far. Yeah, I mean, it's basically just sounds like steroids, right? Only less, it somehow they found a way to make it less moral. That's usually the goal and objective of anything is like how do we do what we're the horrible thing we're currently doing, but less moral? I fucking have no idea. Tattoos, vape pens or something. You're saying you want to shoot up stem cells. I imagine for dating purposes somehow. I'm just trying to fucking go to the gym. We we don't need to play God. We need to play human. Well, that's what they make us think. Well, the world's probably going to end before any of us get too old. So at least there's that to look forward to. I'm waiting for it to say 3:33 minutes, 33 seconds, and then I'm going to end the stream.